Please clap for Wes, the Wild Man. Love it. How are you guys this evening? God damn. I love it. I love getting the knitting community riled up. How you motherfuckers doing? God. So fucking glad to be here. I know when I see all of you, and I know you make amazing vegan brownies. I know every person in here can take me to a great microbrew. Thank you for being here instead of making hemp tampons or whatever the fuck it is you people do. You can probably hear like I sound a little fucked up, like I've been sick for 2 weeks. That's not normal. And most people when they get sick, they're always like, oh, I don't know how it happened, but I know exactly how it happened. Do you ever just get so drunk you forget what other people's property is? You forget other people own shit? Yeah. Like I was sitting at a bar and like I finished my beer, which was like my millionth beer, and I realized they're all my beers. Became an amazing alcohol buffet. At like 1:45, this bar where everybody else had left for cigarettes. And I was just like, maybe I ordered an Appletini, glug glug. And now I'm dying. Every minute of this shit. Oh God. I shouldn't be alive. I shouldn't be alive. For so many reasons. Like, my car, I recently just had to put it in for repairs, and I had to go to my uncle for a shitty car to use. And he was like, I've got a car, it's got about 300,000 miles on it. And I was like, Jesus, that sounds like lots. And so I'm sitting in this car, and he's like, look, with any shitty car, you've got to know, like, there's a couple of weird things about it. And I was like, all right, like, name one. And he was like, well, I know it's kind of cold, so if you want the heat to work, it only works on full blast. Why don't you try it out? And I said, okay, Uncle Bob. And I turned the heat full blast on, and it did work. Out came the heat. Also out came tons of dead bees. Just row after row of dead bee corpses, like some kind of weird honey bear New Year. I was celebrating out in the woods. Whee! Just generations raining down on me. And I was like, and my uncle was just leaning in the window, like no selling me. He's like, oh yeah. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And he goes, oh yeah, it's chock full of dead bees. And I was like, let me tell you something. I'm already over the chock full of dead bees part of that sentence. I don't like that you began that sentence with, oh yeah. That tells me dead bees is like problem number 5. There's problems ahead of dead bees with this car. Like, am I going to open the glove compartment and fight sea crabs? Just those are alive. Those are alive. The dead bees are fine. And he was like, oh no, sometimes, I swear to God this is true, he said sometimes the brakes don't work. And I was like, that sounds like an all the time thing I need. I can't have that be 50-50. Like, what do I do? And he was like, well, slow down and wreck. And then take the license plate off and run. The best plan was to become a criminal. That was the best solution, yes. Oh God. My car sucks, my body sucks. Like, I'm fat, but like I'm out of shape like 2 Lemaires. Like I'm way too out of shape. Like here's cracks in my sanity armor are starting to show. Like, I try to do office humor, we're all on the same team here. And the other day, I'm like in this meeting, and I'm doing office humor. I'm like, Joe, you have another cup of coffee? You'll be more coffee than person. And in my head, I was like, there's two ways to end this sentence. One, oh, I'm just being silly. Two, oh, I'm just being dumb. Here's what came out of my mouth. I'm just being a dildo. Woo! Thanks, brain. Got the D for dumb, the ill from silly, auto-corrected to dildo. Right away, didn't ask my permission. Did you ever do that with a text where you just think you're gonna send something and it autocorrects as it's fucking sending? My mouth did that. And I was so stunned at what I just said, I had nothing to say. Well, everybody's like, he's a dildo, huh? And I was like, and I just walked out of the room. This shit never happened, and I just fucking left. In my mind, I was like, that was so surreal, I'll never remember. I hope no one ever said anything. And I thought I'd gotten away with the weird dildo crab walk out. I thought I'd gotten away with it, but this week, like, there's this sweet little old lady, and I heard her talking to someone in her cubicle, and she says, has anybody seen the dildobster lately? I've worked there for 3 months, I'm the dildobster now. I'm not a person with a family. I'm the dildobster. Holy Christ. And, like, I've got a shitty body, a shitty mind, and so I attract shitty people to fuck. Not people like you. You seem fine. Like, you, maybe you. I bet you're weird. No, like, what I hate, though, is when I talk to guys, and they're like, oh, girls are crazy. I dated this crazy chick. Stop fucking saying that. Stop fucking saying that. Like, you're handsome. You probably have dated enough to use that where you're like, oh, Liz was crazy. No, Liz wasn't fucking crazy. Like, I've dated a real insane person. And I knew it because we were laying in bed one time and just having, like, an intimate moment, like, looking in each other's eyes. And she, like, nudges over. We're on the same fucking pillow. She just nudges over and she's like, can I tell you something? And I was like, baby, anything in the world or whatever, I don't know. And she says, I wish we were an eagle once. I'm gonna go through this step by step in case you missed it. I wish we were an eagle once. I hear that in my head every day of my life now. I wish something I want to happen. We were two of us, both, an eagle. One. Here's the fucking kicker. Once in the past. Not even anymore. And like, what do I fucking say to that? I was just like, oh. And like immediately she saw like the fear and confusion in my eyes. And she's like, oh no, I spooked him. But the honest truth is, I've never been more jealous of someone in my life. Because I stayed in bed. We kept fucking dating. I look like this. If I say some crazy shit, she's gone. Forever. Like, that was the craziest thing she's ever thought. But if I told her the craziest thing I ever thought, she would kill me and win in a court of law. I spent 6 months earnestly believing my fucking grandma was a werewolf. Now listen, I know a lot of you are like, oh, comic man, you're using hyperbole and shit for example. No. When I was 5 years old, I spent a solid 6 months thinking my grandmother was a werewolf because no one explained to me what Alzheimer's was. And so I just wake up in the morning and be like, Grandma's naked in the fucking yard again. No one's telling me that she wasn't a wolf. That's just where my brain went. No one explains this shit, so I'm just sitting at fucking lunch table with people being like, well, she hissed at me over lunch again. Like, when do we tell Mom and Dad that we gotta put Grandma down? Oh my God. Like, when you spend as much time as I do being embarrassed, there's nothing in this world you love more than seeing other people embarrassed. Ooh. Oh my God. The sense of joy I get from watching people earnestly try something and fail is just devilish. Like, everybody here supports the arts, which fucking cool, rock and roll, whatever. I went to a play one time, and it was like a community theater play. It was all shitty people who looked like me, you know what I mean? Just like I took 9 months of acting at community college, and you're like, smoking weed in the lobby. And the first act goes by fine, but then in the second act, something magical happens, you guys, that I've never seen replicated. If you have ever acted, you know that on a stage, there's like plastic X's where it shows you where to stand. Like, here's a time to do this shit. And then they move like set pieces and stuff behind you. I don't know what happened, but in the second act, something went horribly wrong. And like this guy who looks like a 40-year-old me comes out, right? It's one of those shitty plays where everybody just kind of sings everything. There's not real songs. They're just like, today is Wednesday. You're like, fucking whatever, just fucking go. So he's strutting out. He's like, I was a British boy once. I was a British boy. I was like, I just want to fucking die. I just want to fucking die. But then all of a sudden, we all heard it in the crowd. And there was this set piece that was like 200 pounds. And it was like a window seal that was supposed to be lowered later on. And it's just careening towards this guy. And we're all looking like, no way. No fucking way. We're not this lucky. And he's a British boy. Apples, apples, apples. Not only did it hit him right on the head, full speed, like you saw his nervous system just fucking give out. He just fucking turned into jelly immediately. What was beautiful was he got hit so hard, he fell faster than the set piece. So he got hit again. Which led to this beautiful moment of British boy, apples, and we just see his legs sticking out like the Wizard of Oz when the first fucking like witch gets hit, and we're like, he's dead. He's fucking dead. This guy didn't go to community college for nothing, you folks. We just all of a sudden hear, I was a British boy. He's sulking out. He's just fighting through the pain. Blood coming down his forehead. We're like, no way, he's doing it. He just comes up. All the other actors have to act like that shit just didn't happen. Oh my God. Gary's a zombie. He's just fucking fighting through it now. I don't know what the fucking backstage crew was doing, but every scene from then on out, a set piece almost murdered someone. The next little girl up was like, I'm a British girl. A jail piece just swung through like a guillotine. Right in front of her face. She was like pale. So it went from a shitty play about eating meat pies or some shit to an amazing play within a play about townsfolk scared of a vengeful god.